Good day, dear students, and welcome back to the English class. In the last recording rather, we had started with this chapter called How a Client Was Saved. And we had seen how this chapter is written by Mahatma Gandhi, and it's a true story that took place in his own life. And it revolves around one of his very close friends in South Africa, that is Parsi Rustamji. And if you remember the last recording, you will see that Parsi Rustamji was actually a very big businessman. He was an Indian businessman in South Africa, and he was one of the greatest, you can say, contributors to Mahatma Gandhi's works, his Satyagraha movement or any other work. Parsi Rustamji used to finance most of it. Okay, so besides that, they were also very good friends. That is also there. And we are told that they had a very close bond, Parsi Rustamji and Mahatma Gandhi, so much so that Parsi Rustamji was to listen to everything that Gandhi said, and he used to tell Gandhi all about his private matters. Any problem, anything that he had, he used to openly tell it to Gandhi. So they were very, very close friends. Okay, but there was one thing that Parsi Rustamji had studiously kept away from Mahatma Gandhi, and it was the fact that he used to quietly smuggle a few goods, because he was actually an importer of goods from India into South Africa. So that was his business, and in this business there were a lot of times that he would smuggle the goods. Okay, and that was this was one big trade secret that he had, which he never had the guts to tell Gandhi. Okay, so one day we are told that he's caught, Parsi Rustamji is caught, and he is in big trouble, and he runs to Gandhi and tells Gandhi what the situation is, and he apologizes for not earlier revealing the truth about the whole smuggling business. Okay, and we had seen how Parsi Rustamji has his old counsel. He has a legal advisor because he's a big businessman, so it's but necessary for him to have a legal advisor. So they take the entire case and they go first to the legal advisor, and this legal advisor, he advises Parsi Rustamji something. So we will start from there. We are going to see what the legal advisor has to say regarding the entire case, and then what happens in the rest of the story. Okay, so I'll take it from line number 39. It says here, inquiry revealed that the smuggling had been going on for a long time, but the actual offense detected involved a trifling sum. Okay, this is the inquiry in Parsi Rustamji's case. Now, when they investigated the entire situation, they realized that he had been smuggling goods for a very long time, but this instance where he's caught, this certain smuggling deal that he's caught, that smuggling deal was a very small one. He has done worse smuggling deals in the past. Okay, so we went to his counsel. So they go to the legal advisor. He perused the papers and said, the case will be tried by a jury, and a Natal jury will be the last to acquit an Indian, but I will not give up hope. So the legal advisor, he very frankly tells Rustamji, Parsi Rustamji and Gandhi, that this particular case will be tried by a jury. Now, a jury, if you have seen this movie Rustam with Akshay Kumar in it, you will see that he's taken to court and there is a jury. A jury is they are not legal people; they are basically lay persons, probably teachers or maybe even doctors, lay people. Okay, who don't have any legal background, that have been chosen by the court in order to form a decision on a certain case. Okay, so the jury system, at least in India, it is no longer practiced, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the Rustam case, not this Rustam, the Rustam movie case, that was the last time the jury system was used. After that, it has been stopped completely. But understand that it is not legal people, they are lay persons who are called by the court to pass a judgment in a certain case. Okay, so the jury puts or rather they vote on that case, and the majority of that group, that whatever they decide, that is the final decision or the final verdict in the case. That is how it goes about. So in this time and in South Africa, we are told that the legal advisor very frankly tells them that there's going to be a jury, and the Natal is a place in South Africa. So the people of South Africa, they will be members of that jury, people of Natal especially. So that Natal jury will be the last to acquit an Indian. So because you're an Indian, all the more they will be very, very strict with you. So your chances of ever being free or ever being let go of in this case is completely low. Okay, so there's a big chance that you will be arrested and you will face prison or whatever the punishment is for the smuggling. Okay. So as the legal advisor, he still says, but I will not give up hope. So I will fight the case and I'll make sure that, the best happens and we can still save you. That is what the legal advisor says. Now, Gandhi says, I did not know the counsel intimately. So he did not know this legal advisor of Parsi's very closely. Okay. But Parsi Rustamji intercepted. He interrupted and he says, I thank you, but I should like to be guided by Mr. Gandhi's advice in this case. He knows me intimately. Of course, you will advise him whenever necessary. Now, this is a very big step, in my opinion, because Parsi Rustamji easily could have gone with his legal advisor and, continued with the case. But he has so much of faith in Gandhi that he says, I know that you are my legal advisor, but I wish to listen to what Gandhi has to say in my case. I trust whatever Mr. Gandhi will do, and whatever he says, I will go ahead with it, no matter how difficult it is. Okay. And then the matter is closed right there. So we are told, having thus shelved the council's question, we went to Parsi Rustamji's shop. So they decided that they are not really going to take the council's help anymore. It is only going to be Gandhi, and whatever Gandhi says, that is what Rustamji will do. So now they go to Parsi Rustamji's shop. And now, explaining my view, I said to him, I don't think this case should be taken to court at all. It rests with the customs officer to prosecute you or to let you go, and he in turn will have to be guided by the Attorney General. I am prepared to meet both. I propose that you should offer to pay the penalty they fix, and the odds are that they will be agreeable. But if they are not, you must be prepared to go to jail. Okay. Now, Gandhi, being Gandhi, obviously, he has a very different take on the entire situation. So he says, first of all, I don't think this particular case needs to go to court at all. Why? Because who has to punish you is the customs officer, the main officer, where he has to pay the tax. Okay. That customs officer, because it is in his office that you committed the crime of smuggling. You avoided paying the tax. That is the crime, right? So this customs officer, since it is his office, he is in charge. It is his duty to report this crime to the authorities. So if he decides to report, only then there will be a case formed. If he decides not to report, even after he knows the truth, if he decides not to report, then there will be no case that will be held against you. Okay. Then, and the customs officer is one person, and the customs officer himself will have to be guided by the Attorney General. So on top of the customs officer, there is another authority, that is the Attorney General. And who is the Attorney General? Attorney General is basically the chief legal officer of a state. It is like a lawyer, but not an ordinary one. He's a very senior, very experienced lawyer that will legally advise the state in any case, any legal matter that comes up. So it is his responsibility. Okay. So the customs officer has to listen to the Attorney General. So these two are the powerful ones. If you really want, you have to try and speak to them, because they have the power not to press charges if they choose to. Okay. So Gandhi says, instead of taking it to court and making a big issue, before we take it to court, let us first go to these two people and try to sort out the case so that it doesn't go to court at all. Okay, let us try to solve it at the initial level itself. So he says, I am prepared to meet both. I will meet both of these officials and I will speak to them. So he says, I propose that you should offer to pay the penalty they fix. So he says, instead of taking it to court and making a big legal matter out of it, you speak to them, or rather I will speak to them, and whatever penalties, like the fine that they give, you will have to pay it. No matter how big that amount is, I suggest that you pay it. Okay. And the odds are that they will be agreeable. So there is a good chance, or there is a chance that these two people will listen to us and they will understand us and they will let us go by just paying the penalty. They will not put you in jail. Okay, so things may just work out. But if things don't work out, if things don't go as I have planned or as I think it should go about, then you must be prepared to go to jail. That means if after I have spoken to them, they still want you to go to jail, then you have to just prepare to go to jail. Okay, that is how it's going to be. Then I am of the opinion that the shame lies not so much in going to jail as in committing the offense. The deed of the shame has already been done. Imprisonment you should regard as a penance. The real penance lies in resolving never to smuggle again. Now, this is Gandhi being Gandhi. So he says, and very truly, if you really look at it, it makes a lot of sense. He says, you don't look at going to jail as shame. The real shame is the crime that you committed of smuggling. Going to jail is the punishment. It is a sort of a penance that you have to do. Something uh, because you've done the wrong of smuggling the good. This is the prayashchit. Like the penance is the prayashchit. Penance means prayashchit. So going to jail is the prayashchit for the sin that you have committed of smuggling. Okay, and the real penance or the real prayashchit lies in resolving never to smuggle again. Okay, so if you really want to atone for your sin, then you should decide never in your life to ever smuggle again, never commit that crime again. Okay, so he makes it very, very clear, very, very objective, but for people like you and me, also very, very difficult. It is very difficult to accept the fact that going to jail is not shameful, but it is more of a prayashchit for the sin that you have done. Very, very difficult. But this is what Gandhi says. This is what he tells Parsi Rustamji. And very frankly, Gandhi himself says, I cannot say that Parsi Rustamji took all this quite well. He was a brave man, but his courage failed him for the moment. His name and fame were at stake, and where would he be if the edifice he had reared with such care and labor should go to pieces? So, after hearing what Gandhi just said about, going to jail is not about shame, it's about prayashchit and all that, Parsi Rustamji is losing faith. He's losing courage because he did not think that Gandhi would tell him to go to jail. He thought that Gandhi would use all of his influence and save him somewhere. Okay, but Gandhi here clearly tells him, if you have to go to jail, you will have to go to jail. There's nothing that we can do about it. Okay, so Parsi Rustamji is, feeling all ashamed of himself, and also he doesn't have the courage to go with what Gandhi is saying. Okay, and why he doesn't have the courage is because his name and fame were at stake. Obviously, if he goes to jail, his entire business will suffer. Everybody will see him as a criminal. The business can just go down completely because the name of the company is spoiled. Okay, so he says, and where would he be if the edifice he had reared with such care and labor should go to pieces? Edifice actually means a large building, but in this case, it will mean Parsi Rustamji's business, the business empire that he had created. Where would he be if that business that he had reared, that he had nurtured with so much care and labor goes to pieces? So if that business disappears because of the fact that he has committed this crime and he goes to jail, then what will happen to him? He will be destroyed completely. Okay, so there's a lot at stake. If Parsi Rustamji goes to jail, there's a lot of ripple effects that it will have on his business. So he's not prepared for that, and he's definitely lacking in courage to go with what Gandhi has to say here. Okay, but Gandhi being Gandhi, he says that is the right thing to do, and there's no way out. You have to do what has to be done. Okay, then he says, well, I have told you, he said, I am entirely in your hands. You may do just as you like. Now, this is, a statement that shows that Parsi Rustamji, whatever it is, at this point, he believes entirely in Gandhi. So, although it's very difficult for him, what he has just heard from Gandhi, the fact that he might have to go to jail, he's very upset about it, but he just says, what, if that is what you're telling me, Gandhi, if that is what you're telling me, then I will do it because I am completely in your hands. Whatever you say, I will do. Okay, then we are told, I brought to bear on this case all my powers of persuasion. I met the customs officer and fearlessly apprised him of the whole affair. I also promised to place all the books at his disposal and told him how penitent Parsi Rustamji was feeling. So Mahatma Gandhi, as promised, he says, I will first try and convince them. So he goes first to the customs officer and he very fearlessly, he apprised him. Apprised him means he told him all the details about what happened, about the smuggling and how long Parsi Rustamji had been smuggling, everything about the case, And he also told the customs officer that, it's not, that Parsi Rustamji has done the wrong thing. They are not trying to deny it. But at the same time, Parsi Rustamji is extremely sorry. Penitent means he is extremely sorry for what he has done. Okay, he regrets what he has done. Okay, so he convinces the customs officer that this is the situation. He tells him the truth. Okay, also understand that nobody does it. This was a very unique approach to the entire situation. Usually they could have pleaded not guilty, but here Gandhi just uses the power of truth. He goes and tells the truth and he tries to win people over. So he goes and tells the customs officer the truth. Okay, the customs officer said, I like the old Parsi. I am sorry he has made a fool of himself. You know where my duty lies. I must be guided by the Attorney General, and so I would advise you to use all your persuasion with him. I shall be thankful, said I, if you do not insist on dragging him to court. Okay, so the customs officer says, you know what, Gandhi, I have listened to you, and whatever you say, I am convinced with it. I am also convinced with the fact that Parsi Rustamji is really sorry for what he has done. Okay, I can see it, and you have also convinced me. But I cannot do much because there is somebody else who is higher than me, that is the Attorney General. So he says, I am convinced, but it is also your duty to go and convince the Attorney General because he has the real authority, because he is the legal advisor to the state. Okay, so you go and convince him first, and then there's a chance that Parsi Rustamji may be saved. Okay, and then Gandhi tells him, okay, whatever it is, I just need you to promise that on your level you will not take Parsi Rustamji to court. And the customs officer says, I promise, I will not do anything like that, and you have my word. Okay, so having got him to promise this, I entered into correspondence with the Attorney General and also met him. So he gets a meeting with the Attorney General, and that's when it says here, I am glad to say that he appreciated my complete frankness and was convinced that I had kept back nothing. Okay, so luckily for them, the power of truth works a second time. It's not just the customs officer who is happy and convinced about the penitent state of Parsi Rustamji. It is also the Attorney General who appreciates the fact that for the first time, a criminal has come and openly told the truth about what he has done. Okay, he has not denied his crime. He has not pleaded not guilty. Okay, but rather he has just come and accepted his crime, and he has shown that he is truly sorry for what he has done and that he plans never to repeat the crime again. Okay, so the Attorney General is extremely happy about this case. Okay, and more importantly, the fact that they decided to tell the entire truth without being ashamed. Okay, then Gandhi says, I now forget whether it was in connection with this or with some other case that my persistence and frankness extorted from him the remark, I see you will never take a no for an answer. So it seems the Attorney General made this remark either in this case or in some other case that Gandhi doesn't remember, but he says that the Attorney General listened to Gandhi and he said, you will never take a no for an answer. That means you're so stubborn with whatever you're saying, you're so adamant about it that you will have your way. You will just convince people to do things that you are saying. Okay, so he's just trying to say that they are strongly convinced by Gandhi's argument. So Gandhi has really used his powers of persuasion in order to save his friend, and not in the wrong way, in the right way. He has told the truth. He has used the power of truth and power of persuasion in order to save Parsi Rustamji. Okay. Finally, good news is the case against Parsi Rustamji was settled by compromise. He was to pay a penalty equal to twice the amount he had confessed to having smuggled. Rustamji, reduced to writing the facts of the whole case, got the paper framed and hung it up in his office to serve as a perpetual reminder to his heirs and fellow merchants. Now, the result of the persuasion with the customs officer and the Attorney General is that they both agreed not to take the Parsi to court. On the contrary, they decided that they're going to have a deal, they're going to have a compromise. And the compromise is that Parsi Rustamji has to pay double the amount that he has smuggled as fine, as a penalty. Okay, so if he has smuggled goods worth around 10 lakhs, then he has to pay 20 lakhs as fine, whatever it is, double the amount he has to pay as a fine. And that is the thing. So once that is done, he will not be dragged to court and he will definitely not be put in prison. Okay, so that thing was over. So once that thing is settled, Rustamji, you can really make out that Rustamji really is sorry for the crime that he had committed. So what he did is he wrote down everything about this case, this entire thing about the smuggling and how he got caught and what happened and everything. All the details he wrote down. He put it on a paper and he framed that paper and hung that paper in his office. Now, who does that? It takes a lot of guts to do that, a lot of courage to do that. A big man like Parsi Rustamji. But he did not feel ashamed even for once. He took that piece of paper and he put it in his office so that, this will be a constant reminder, perpetual reminder, constant reminder for his heirs, his children and their children and anybody else in their family and fellow merchants, other people in the trade. What will happen to you when you do something wrong? Okay, this is what he wanted them to always remember. He wanted them to learn from his mistake. Okay, that's why he put it in his office so that if ever he is tempted to smuggle again, he would remember that case and he would remember how he was about to go to jail and it was Gandhi and the truth that saved him. Okay, that he will never get a chance like that again. Okay, so he put it up in his office. A very brave gesture. Okay, then we are told that these friends of Rustamji warned me not to be taken in by his transitory contrition. When I told Rustamji about this warning, he said, "What would be my fate if I deceived you?" Okay, so some people or some friends of Rustamji, when they saw that Rustamji had put this paper or this he had put this frame up about the case in his office, they said, he's just making it up. It's just a temporary sort of repentance, price chip that he has. It's not that he's really sorry. It's not like he will not smuggle again. That is what some people were saying around him. So, and some people went and told this to Gandhi also. Don't be fooled. This Parsi Rustam, he will never stop smuggling. And when Gandhi went and told Rustamji that some people are saying this about you, what Rustamji says is that, what would be my fate if I deceived you? So he says, once I was about to lose my business, I was about to lose my reputation, I was about to go to jail, but you saved me. And again, if I do the same wrong thing, what will happen to me? What will be my fate? If I cheated you, if I go against the promise I've made to you, never to smuggle in my life, what will happen to me? Okay, so here again is, you can make out that Parsi Rustamji is completely convinced that you should really not smuggle again. You should never do anything unethical in the trade. And he is also, he completely believes in what Gandhi has taught him. Okay, that this is wrong and it will always be wrong for whatever reasons. Okay, and that is how a client, that is Parsi Rustamji, was saved. That is how Gandhi, with the truth and with his power of persuasion, managed to save his friend, that is Parsi Rustamji. Okay, so I hope the lesson is very clear to you and about how Gandhi is, how he deals with things, and how much he believed in the power of truth. That is at the core of this lesson. How the truth can be used to deal with situations, telling the truth, owning up, that is so important in order to really be repentant for the wrongs that you've done. Okay, and that truth has a power. Like in this case, the Attorney General and the Customs Officer, both of them were, taken up by the fact that these two people chose to tell the truth. Okay, so again, this lesson is all about the power of truth. Okay, so we will stop right here. This is the end of the lesson. Thank you, class.